let's move on and talk about, how about let's talk about Jake LaRavia. So I want to talk about Jake LaRavia because, and you're going to hear me use this term throughout the season, but let's bring up the LaRavia litmus test, because I think throughout the season, I will be able to tell, based on your opinion of Jake LaRavia, how close you're actually watching the game. And this is not some high and mighty, like hipster crap that I'm trying to pose here. But for anyone who's actually watched every single game and honed in on Jake LaRavia, you would know that this dude is doing everything out on the court. Yes, his lowlights and lack of discernibly elite skill will always make people focus on what he can't do. And I know those things stand out when he's fumbling around with the ball. He's like trying to shake and bake and he turns it over, or Devin Booker blows past him and it doesn't look like he has any foot speed whatsoever. Those things are so glaring about his game that I think too often the casual fan will sort of just focus on that and be like, Jake LaRavia sucks. But if that's their conclusion from what they're seeing out of Jake LaRavia, then I'm sorry, you are not watching the game close enough. And again, I'm not saying that from like a, pretentious point of view. Like literally, Jake LaRavia is doing a lot of other stuff besides those, kind of low lights that that kind of ring loudly in your head when you see them. Like the last two games, Jake LaRavia has been, this dude is hustling his ass on defense, especially when the Lakers are playing a team defense sort of scheme. Jake LaRavia is covering the most ground. He's rotating to the most players. He's always getting his hands in a scrum, getting these loose balls. On offense, he's running around the court, route running like a wide receiver, hitting the open spots, relocating to the open places. Yes, his three-point shot hasn't necessarily been there from an efficiency and volume standpoint, although he did hit that nice baseline three-pointer in the Suns game where the exciting whites had their little 98 degrees sort of pass to a wide open Jake LaRavia three. So just watch Jake LaRavia and the way that he impacts the game without even necessarily recording a stat, because he's been very active and I've been very encouraged by his overall motor and his connective play on both ends, whether it's diving for a loose ball, being in the right spot to box out a man and get the rebound, making that nice short roll pass to the open guy, making that connective pass, grabbing the ball and taking it himself in transition. He had that nice play against the Suns where he just, I don't know if it was a stop or whatever, but he grabbed the board, took it coast to coast for the nice finger roll, And then as an off-ball cutter, that's where Jake LaRavia really shows off his speed. His speed doesn't show up when he has the ball in his hands because his handle is not that advanced. But when he can cut and sort of fake one way, fake go the other, that's when you can sort of see like Jake's deceptive quickness. And he does have his moments of sneaky athleticism. It'll just come largely without the ball. But I say all that to say that Jake LaRavia hasn't stood out, and in a lot of ways he'll never stand out because he is the true definition of jack of all trades, Jake of all trades, master of none. But do not take that as a slight on him, because he's affecting the game in so many ways to the point where it's almost better that you don't notice him, because he's just knitting this team together, whether he's coming off the bench or starting, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, I think he would stand out more if he had, oh my gosh, Jake LaRavia has 28 points and 7 threes, which he has done before. But right now, I'm totally fine with Jake LaRavia, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, dude hustling on defense, even though he's getting blown by. I'm fine with that version of Jake LaRavia. So if you're worried about him, I wouldn't be too worried, because so far I've liked the connectivity that I've seen from him. The only thing that I'm kind of been down about with regards to Jake is just like, I thought he had a better handle than he does. I thought he'd be able to break his dudes off more than he has, but he hasn't, and that's okay. This dude's 6'8". You can't expect him to do that much. In a lot of ways, he kind of reminds me of he's not this slow, but Jake LaRavia kind of reminds me of like Kyle Anderson, Boris Diaw, if any of you are old heads. He kind of reminds me of a Kyle Anderson, Boris Diaw type of connective player who will give you sprinklings of everything, but not really stand out in any one way, especially because he doesn't pop off the page when you're watching him with like an explosive jam or like a heat-seeking 3-point game. Although he can have those types of games. But with that said, the LaRavia litmus test. Let's keep track of it, and I have a feeling that he's going to be Lakers fans' new target if he's not performing in the box score or stat sheet.